Relationships are important to all people, but around the world, relationships work differently. In many cultures, patronage is how relationships work. So what is patronage? It's a reciprocal relationship between social unequals. A patron has great wealth and status, which they use to help and protect others. The client repays such favors with loyalty and thanks. In patronage relationships, patrons gift material resources, and clients repay with honor. Hospitality is one example of a patronage relationship. A host displays generosity by providing food, and guests repay with gratitude. Many political leaders also function as patrons. They promise security, prosperity, and greatness, then expect from their citizens loyalty and respect. Many relationships follow the patron-client model, like teacher-student, employer-employee, and even pastor-church. Though patronage is common, it can be confusing and frustrating for Westerners. It seems like nepotism, corruption, or dependency. This clash is because of obvious cultural differences. In the West, rules define relationships, but elsewhere, relationships define the rules. When it comes to money, Westerners want independence and freedom, but many cultures value interdependence and sharing. Western societies demand fairness and equality, but good patrons give favors to their own people. These conflicting values lead to misunderstandings. So then, what does the Bible say about patronage? Well, the word patronage is actually absent, but the concept is ubiquitous throughout Scripture. Consider God's covenant relationship with Israel in the Old Testament. God blessed them with salvation, land, and shalom. In response, Israel honored God with praise, thanks, and obedience. Both sides were expected to be loyal and faithful. God formed this patron-client relationship to advance His kingdom purposes. Then, in the Gospels, Jesus mediates God's favor to humanity. Jesus provided what people sought from patrons, like healing, liberation, and lavish feasts. And then the crowds, like good clients, respond with awe, tell others, and follow Jesus. In the Bible, our relationship with God is a patron-client relationship. God gives us salvation and life, and expects from us praise and trust. So then, what is the gospel according to patronage? We might say, God is a benevolent king who blesses and preserves His people, but humans seek out other patrons and thus dishonor God. Yet despite our disloyalty, God stays loyal. Jesus comes as a mediator. He obeys the Father and repays our honor debt. Through Jesus, God saves humanity, and humans glorify God. So now, people must trust God alone as their one true patron. This is the new covenant relationship that Jesus has remade. But what about patronage in our human relationships? Worldly patronage can be exploitative. Sinful patrons abuse their clients, and sinful clients manipulate their patrons. This patronage is life-sucking and self-focused. But redeemed, biblical patronage is different. It's life-giving and God-focused. Biblical patrons foster mutual, life-giving relationships. They minimize the social distance by honoring and empowering their clients as humans. Biblical patronage is also God-centered. We must remember all gifts come from God, and all glory goes to God. Our patronage relationships simply mediate God's cosmic benefaction. Of course, sin corrupts patronage, but God's people can redeem patronage to be life-giving and God-focused. So don't avoid patronage relationships, but seek ways to leverage them for kingdom purposes. Remember, relationships are important around the world, and often patronage is how relationships work. To learn more about patronage, you can visit honorshame.com/patronage.